am so stoked to have my next guest join. That's not a pun. I just literally a word just come out of my mouth. Her new EP is called Catching Rabbits. It's Genevieve Stokes. I'm so sorry for the pun.
No, you're good. That's great.
It's just the way I speak. I should say excited. I'm excited.
Either way, it's good.
Are you stoked?
Yeah, I am stoked.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
You are on tour.
I am on tour.
Very few dates as well.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking time during this travel and like these select dates and so forth. How's that been going?
It's been really good. It's been better than I expected, honestly.
How so?
I just didn't know. Like, I didn't know who would show up, if anyone would show up. And they've been like really enthusiastic crowds of people that like, just meeting people that really listen to my music has been cool because it just feels so online most of the time. Like, I just don't really interact with a lot of people. But
when you do your lives, you have people that are watching and attending and things.
No, it's fun. I love doing lives. That's like the closest to like a live performance that you get really on social media. So, yeah.
And that's something that you've been doing basically since you've been getting a lot of attention. It's helped you get signed to a record label and all the things. And so when you do see these people, what's like their reaction and what do they say to you? Like,
I get a lot of people that I think I help them through breakups, which makes sense because I have a lot of songs about love and like relationships, but a lot of really sweet, like thoughtful girls, I feel like, come up to me, yeah, they just say really kind things. It's so hard for me to even wrap my head around when I'm talking to them, and I don't know, I never expected to experience this in my life, so it's really cool.
And performing your own songs live, especially with an audience, as like you just said, you've been doing it online, you see these comments scrolling by and you're like, okay, that's cool. They could be bots, they could be those Swiftie bots that are just saying, love you, Genevieve, right?
Yeah.
And it's not the same.
It's very different, and it's like, it's giving me hope in a way that I haven't, not to be all like sad, but just, it's giving me hope in a way that I haven't experienced in a while. Just to know that these are real people that care and like connect, and I can really feel that when I'm playing, and just to hear people singing along, it's like, it's a really beautiful experience. I had no idea what that would feel like.
Well, you performed live before, right?
Yeah.
When you were starting out in high school and going into, the Maine Academy of Modern Music and things, right? You were in a band, so you know what it's like to have that sense of community.
It's such a different experience, though, when they're there to see you. Like, those shows, I played the randomest shows growing up. Like,
what's the most random? Where did you play?
I played at this event for this woman who makes like things out of moose poop. And she had a bunch
what kind of poop?
Moose poop. And I think there's actually like a TV show about her now, or like they were promoting some TV show for her. But I drove up to this like town in northern Maine, and I performed, and it was just like me and this clunky keyboard that kept cutting out, and I cried after because it was so bad. But no, I've just played a bunch of really random shows, and it was usually like Maine Academy of Modern Music would reach out to me and be like, hey, do you want to play in like front of LL Bean on a random Sunday, or like do all of these, you know. And so I was really open to performing because I just loved having any opportunity to do that, but it wasn't the same, and it was a lot of like shows with maybe like 3 or 4 people in the audience. So.
And that was totally different music as well.
Yeah, like high school music.
That was like alternative rock.
No.
Well, weren't you in a band?
Oh gosh, yes, I did. I was. But that was also an experiment. That was cool.
How long did that go for?
That was like throughout all of high school. I just like, and at my high school, there was really no opportunity for me to play with other musicians that were kind of interested in the same music. And so I met these people through Maine Academy of Modern Music, and they were really cool. They were also in high school, and we would just meet like once or twice a week and like play music together. And it was really low pressure, like just for fun.
Just fun.
Yeah.
Like School of Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Movie.
It was very much like that. So.
Did you have people come out?
Not for me, no.
Not for you.
Yeah, not really.
Well, now they are.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course you're supporting this new EP, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the release of this.
Thank you.
It's been brewing for some time.
It has been.
And in fact, this is new music since you went viral
Oh my gosh.
I hate to say it that way, right? But let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Habits did its thing, and it just took off.
I didn't realize how much of a blessing habits would be. Like it was such a quick change in my career, and I was just putting out random little pieces on TikTok, like of demos or whatever, and with like videos of nature, because I just didn't really know what to do. Honestly, I didn't know how to promote myself on there, and it randomly took off. It was just like one of the first, tries of like trying to put my music out there. And that's
What
not
were you
true,
thinking
but,
when you put that up?
Not much.
Just
I wasn't even thinking. Honestly, okay, no, actually my friend put it up for me because she was helping me with social media stuff. And I think I saw that she posted it and that I was doing well. And I was on a flight about to go to LA to actually finish recording that song. It was like a really weird moment. And I was like, oh no, because it was doing well and the demo's so different than the recorded version. So I was honestly kind of dreading the fact that it was doing well because I was like, people are like, they're going to have expectations that are so different. But it was really cool, and it ended up being such a blessing, and it really jump-started the whole EP,
So that's what I was going to ask, was that how early in writing the music for the EP was that? Because you had all these other songs, I'm sure, that you had in the works.
It was, like, I had basically finished recording that song. There was some stuff that I had to do to it, but all the songs were already recorded, and we were actually just planning the release schedule. And Habits wasn't even supposed to be one of the first singles. It was supposed to be like later on in the release. So we had to switch everything around and put out Habits as the first single, which that was always what I wanted. That was my favorite song on the project. And people weren't really agreeing with me at the time. And I was like, I love this one. Like, I swear people are going to like it. So it was like this little confirmation of like, this is actually good and people will resonate with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love hearing that from an artist directly, because it's always this butting of heads when you have management and labels and other people involved. And you always hear those stories of like, well, the label doesn't want to release this. They want an upbeat song first and so forth, right?
Yeah, it can be frustrating for sure, but it's making me realize that I really have to trust my own intuition when it comes to music and be like really push for the things that I want. Because I think at first I was like, oh yeah, you guys probably know better than I do. But I think I probably know best since I'm writing the songs, and I know which songs are going to resonate most with people because it's the stuff that I resonate the most with,
That's got to be such a great learning experience in dealing with big people, labels and management that have so much experience, and you're like, well, I'm the new kid, but you also have the democracy of your fans on socials, and you see them and you see their comments and all those things, right?
Yeah, and I know my audience in a way that they probably don't. It's just natural. But
What would you say to the casual fans that only know Habits?
You should listen to Mara. That's my favorite. Now, I mean, I love Habits too, but Mara is one of my favorites. I think you should just give the whole project a listen. It's all it's similar. And I think some of them are actually more similar to the demo than Habits even is. So.
Did you strip anything down because of the fact that the demo of Habits went crazy like that?
No. I kept everything pretty true to like my original vision. I was really nervous to release Habits. Even though I loved it, I was like, oh gosh. But it ended up being great, and we ended up releasing the demo too, so.
Was that a song that was just easy to write and just whip out in a matter of a day or two, or how much thought went into that?
I think that was a quick one, because I remember it was like in the spring, and I was really obsessed with like just like the waltzy chords, and I just sat in my garage and I played it over and over again. And I think that was one of those songs that I just kind of became obsessed with pretty quickly and wanted to write it over the course of a few days. I think it was like, but the thing is, the part that went viral on TikTok was actually like an afterthought.
Really?
Because I wrote the verses and the chorus, and then I went to record demos to send to Atlantic to be like, okay, I'm ready to record. And I was like, it doesn't feel finished yet. And then I came up with that like on again, off again section. And I remember showing it to my sister and being like, do you think this is corny? Like, I don't know if I even like it. And she was like, yeah, no, I love that. So it was really like, it came together really last minute, like that part.
You said Mara is one of your favorites and everyone should listen to it. That one is so personal. It definitely touches upon mental health and I don't know, the kind of ups and downs of struggling, the internal arguments with yourself.
Yeah.
And then finding that light of hopefulness. What were you going through at that moment, and what spurred the writing of that?
Yeah. I think I was just really stuck in my head. Like I wasn't really listening to my intuition or my body or like how I felt. It felt like I was just kind of stuck in my mind and going through all of these different like trapdoors basically of like, oh, it's this real or this, and I was freaking myself out, and really extreme highs and lows emotionally. And I think I wrote it to cope with that feeling of like just struggling to stay grounded in reality and losing sight of what's really important. And yeah, it was just fun to write too. It was like the idea of it kind of taking place in this haunted house, or like I was picturing this like old Victorian mansion, and just seeing it like erode and fall apart, and, like try to rebuild itself. And that was fun to write.
What do you do in those moments of struggling with a particular experience in your life? Because you seem like you come from a very tight-knit family.
Yeah.
And you can speak to them at any point in time. Do you pour it all out to them first and then go into song?
Sometimes I start to feel like I'm being annoying though, like because I feel like it's good to vent, but I also don't want to abuse them in that way, like or just overly, express all my
feel
stuff.
That way, though.
I know. It's just like
they're your family.
they are, and they're there for me. Like it's not like they're like, oh, stop. It's just I think I try to figure it out when I'm writing, and then I'll go to people and talk to them about it. But I think music is honestly the first resort, and then I go out and talk to my family about it, and they're really helpful, especially my parents. Like, they have really comforted me through a lot of stuff recently, and living with my siblings too. We've all been struggling in different ways, and we help each other out a lot. They're not, like my best friends, so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I always love to hear that. I mean, I'm really tight with my sister, and
cool.
It's always good to hear that you have a good bond and good relationship.
Yeah.
When it comes to personal relationships, especially with the songs that are on the CP, like You and Me, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Can I? There were some struggles going on.
Yeah.
You and Me, by the way, has some element, and I'm not comparing you because you play piano and you're you're young and all this other stuff, but it has that Fiona Apple-esque vibe.
That's the biggest compliment. I love her so
Okay,
much.
all right.
Thank you.
I don't. I mean, I know some artists are touchy about comparisons.
No,
but
that is a huge
it
compliment.
has such a Fiona-esque Sleep to Dream,
Thank you.
dark vibe,
Yeah.
and you're not as harsh as her with the lyrics, but I'm sure that was a moment as well where you're struggling and trying to pour it all out.
Honestly, it started way more soft and like just more of like a pathetic emotion. Not like I'm not even judging myself. It was more of like, "But you love me" song. And then I started working with Tony Berg and Matt Chamberlain, who actually played on I think he did Paper Bag by Fiona Apple. He played on You and Me. So I think it just maybe that influence came through.
Osmosis.
Yeah, and I think it allowed me to envision the song in a completely different way. And I was like, wait, so it can be kind of like an angry song. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm just so sad and I thought you loved me. Like it could be more of like a, aggressive song. And that was really fun because it was like I could see like different parts of myself in it that I have never really explored in my writing. And yeah, that one, I don't know. It's funny because it's not even, like parts of it are from my personal experience, but it was also just kind of a way of exploring like toxic relationships or like that dynamic and how it's just interesting that you can convince yourself that you need someone else to experience love or like that you need them to show you some kind of attention that is not even really necessary in your life. But
is that something you learned over the past number of years as you've been growing? And
definitely,
you recently turned 22 and so forth, right? The Magic Taylor number.
Yeah.
Where you can rely on yourself and not have to lean on others and be that person that's always in a relationship.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've learned a lot. I think that was kind of my earlier relationships, and honestly, I'm just not even in one right now. I'm like, I don't even want to deal with that. So, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank
I really
you.
appreciate it, and congrats on all the attention you're getting.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thanks. It's been great.
Genevieve Stokes, right here on B-Sides.